Hey friends, it's Sheryl from Tutoring with Sheryl and the Tech Coach for Tutors. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about um, things like this in your curriculum and having things like Bridge the Gap in your curriculum. This is a product put out by Haggerty. It's phonemic awareness and it's got intervention lessons in it. And it was written by Alyssa Van Hecken and Marjorie Batari, I believe is their name. And this will help kids hear sounds. Now, I'm currently working with a student who is in kindergarten and is moving into first grade. And he can identify all of his letters, all of his sounds, but he's having a really difficult time hearing it. And I realize that working online makes it a little bit more of a challenge, but he does have an adult at home that sits with him that will always repeat what I'm saying. And I think one of the things is that what we're finding is we'll say a word and then he'll say it backwards, or he'll switch the sound up or say, well, that rhymes when it doesn't really rhyme. So really getting a student to be able to hear the sounds is really important. Another one of the really great features of the UFly Foundations that I've been using with my students, and it is an explicit phonics instruction, is that there is the elements of what Bridge the Gap has in it right at the beginning of each one of the lessons. When we are sounding out words for kids and asking them to repeat them, we're training their brains to hear the sounds. And it's really crucial for kids to be able to hear those sounds in order to make progress. They might see it. They might be able to say, yep, I recognize that word. And I might read it and they're like, oh, I thought it was something else, because their brain isn't linking the sounds with the letters. But they know all their letters, they know all of their sounds in isolation, but when we put them in the words, they don't hear them. So training our kids to hear those sounds is really important. So reading to your kids out loud is really crucial for them to understand our language. And especially when kids have auditory processing disorders, maybe dyslexia, maybe they're just really slow to pick up on the language. This student also has a speech problem. So we're working with some things here that are kind of slowing the progress down. That is not to say that progress is not being made. As a matter of fact, my little guy has gone through all of the get ready lessons and then is up to lesson 22. And that is a very big thing for him. And he gets really anxious when he sees a lot of words on the page. So just reading it for him, going through all of the words first, making sure he knows what he's reading about builds confidence so he doesn't feel so overwhelmed, so that when he gets the decodable passage, which he's gone from sentences to passages now, and he's like, I go, don't worry, I'm going to help you. If you get stuck, we're going to help you. And just that repeated reassurance is building confidence for him, so that hopefully when he starts school in September, because he's a September starter, he's going to have had enough practice with me that he's not going to feel as overwhelmed in the classroom because he's got some confidence built up. We are not to level yet. I know that, and family knows that, but knowing that we're making these little teeny tiny steps throughout his time with me during the week is building that confidence. Kids have things going on. They've got play dates. They've got all-day camps that they're going to. They're seeing me when they're tired, and that's a little bit more difficult when they see me in the evening and they've had a full day of camp. But today happens to be a Saturday morning, and he was fresh and he was ready to go. So that was a good choice to put him in the morning when he's fresh and he's ready to go. But the kids are showing up. They're doing the work that they need to do to help them move forward. So if your tutor doesn't have some really specific things that they're working with their students with, and you know that your child has something that's holding them back, and what I just described to you sounded like your child, ask them, can you get a hold of, look at Bridge the Gap, or would you please get a hold of the UFly Foundations and try to use that with my child and see if it makes a difference. There's probably other things that are out there. These are just the two that I use in my practice, and I know they work. And sometimes it feels like it's an uphill battle, but over time it will work. And it's just like when we're exercising, we want to see that immediate fix. We want to see it right away. And when we don't, we get frustrated. But I'm just really going to encourage you as a parent, don't get frustrated. These are things that parents, you guys can buy them too. You're going to have to do the legwork to understand how to use them. But these are things that you can use as long as you're consistent. If you do not have time in your day to do it, hire somebody to do it. Just had lunch with a friend, and he said, yeah, my kids always had a tutor. His kids are in college now. And he's like, we got a tutor because our kids wouldn't listen to us. We all have, our kids don't want to listen to us, do they? They think they know better. But then getting somebody who's not a relative and somebody who can be consistent about showing up and working with your child, sometimes that's the difference maker between success and failure. So I'm going to wrap it up today. Thanks again for hopping in. I hope that these tools are helpful for your child. And if you're tutoring, look into them. And if you're a parent that needs support for your child, make sure that you hop onto my Tutoring with Sheryl website. I'll leave the description below so that you can hop in and see how I help students and sign up for your free Meet the Tutor lesson. You guys make it a great day. And as usual, keep the learning going.